Hey guys, welcome to another YouTube video. So in today's video, we're gonna be discussing overcoming failure. Now, can you think of a time you've dealt with failure? I guarantee you everybody watching this video has dealt with it in business startups, maybe relationships, exams. We all deal with it, absolutely everybody. Some of the most successful people in the world that you can think of, all of them have many public failures. Now, people don't typically like to talk about failure because, hey, it makes us feel very vulnerable. These days with social media, the only thing people show off is their absolute best accomplishments, their best successes, and we don't really realize the amount of failure and hardship that they've actually gone through. There's many celebrities and famous personalities who've dealt with failure. Oprah was once said that she wasn't fit for television. Michael Jordan has a quote where he says, "I failed over and over and over again in my life, and that is why I succeed." Walt Disney, he was fired from his newspaper job for lacking imagination, having no original ideas. The founder of Alibaba, Jack Ma, he failed primary school, was rejected by Harvard 10 times. He was even rejected for a job at KFC. He went on to own one of the world's largest companies. I hope you guys are seeing a trend here. Another guy that I really am fond of is Elon Musk, and there's a really funny story where he crashed his $1 million uninsured McLaren, and he's also had his fair share of struggles. And he was stated as saying, failure is an option here. If things are not failing, you are not innovating enough. So anyways, let's go ahead and talk about things you can do to overcome failure. Number one, accept failure. Accept that failure is part of your journey, your personal, unique story. Absolutely everybody fails at some point or another. Everyone. If you never come to terms with failure, well, you won't be able to get over that hill and actually do something about it. Learn to accept it, embrace it, continue moving forward. With every failure comes some form of opportunity that you're only going to see if you keep your eyes open and you remain positive amidst all the criticism, the negativity, and the difficult trying situations. I didn't come up with this, but I saw a quote where they abbreviated fail as your first attempt at learning. If you look at it from that perspective and you're able to learn from any of these challenges that come your way, you may be able to effectively find a way to not only prevent and overcome future causes of this failure, but you might even find new opportunities amidst everything you're going through at the moment that you previously didn't know were there. Number two, identify the root cause. Now, figure out the reasons why things happened the way they happened in order to, drumroll, learn for the future. I hope I'm really hammering this one home by now. By dissecting out the situations and trying to figure out the cause or the root of why a situation panned out the way it did, you're gonna gain a much broader understanding of that situation and yourself as a whole. If you failed a test that you feel like you prepared for, was it an issue of maybe you just weren't paying enough attention in class? Maybe you studied hard but didn't give yourself enough studying time. Maybe it was an issue of the study methods, or maybe it was an issue of you had too many distractions. Maybe your personal life was getting in the way. Whatever it may be, you got to figure out how you can avoid that same mistake in the future, and you can try and practice implementing new styles and figure out how to make things work better in the future. Now, I'll give you guys an example. When I first started off in med school, I didn't incorporate as much of like a flashcard or active recall learning approach. I simply read, I reread, and I reread my notes, went in to take my tests. I wasn't doing as great as I wanted. I eventually tried to change my study methods and found that by incorporating a more active learning method, I was able to score much better on my subsequent examinations. Number three, set realistic expectations. Don't expect to be Mr. Olympia and you just started working out 6 weeks ago. Now, you have to have a perception of what is realistic, what is achievable. Take small, manageable, and consistent steps. Try small things like cleaning your room or making your bed. And the mere act of being disciplined in small things is eventually going to lead you to be much more disciplined in the future with tasks on a much larger scale. It's vital that in this step you give yourself time. Realize most good things do take time. It is not about rushing yourself. Rather, you got to work at a consistent pace while staying diligent with goal setting and actually achieving your future ambitions. Number four, realize it's okay to ask for help. If you feel after hitting a setback you can't really move forward, or you're just really stuck in a rut, then you got to consider talking to someone about it, or even seeking professional help. After all, your mental health, your physical health, your emotional health, they're all linked. And this will again require you to accept everything you're feeling, and you will be forced to do something about it, and it can be tremendously useful. Furthermore, some of the best advice that I've heard is to actually try and seek out and find a mentor early and try to soak up as much information you can from them. So clearly there's a lot of benefit to be derived from other people around you. This can be very valuable, especially in careers where developing good networking and communication skills is very important. Finding a role model or someone to help you is incredibly valuable. For example, I used to play a lot of tennis on my own. I remember I would play for hours and hours, months and months on end, but I never had any formal coaching. It was only after I got a coach that I realized my technique and even things as simple as my grip were wrong for so many shots like my serve. Once I actually ended up practicing enough to actually hit what we call a kick serve, my serve became much more quick, accurate, and most importantly, it became consistent because I had formal coaching or advice from someone else that was in a position to try to teach me. Number 5, so accept that some things are not always in your control. Sometimes you're gonna discover that you're gonna do everything right, but the results won't come, and that's okay. Accept it. Try your best. Importantly, move on. If you're dead set on talking to maybe one other partner, it's really good that you understand eventually if this person is truly not interested in you, you gotta move on. For so many people, the difficult part about this is that it's really rough on your ego. It's an ego killer. But sometimes it isn't about you at all. Sometimes it's something in the other person. They may be having many personal issues at the moment, or they may be in certain circumstances in which they possibly can't afford to be in a relationship with you. Or let me just say, they just might not be all that into you, and that's okay. I want you guys to be completely okay with that. Smile, be polite, move along. That's it. Stop putting everything in your life to a halt over this possible perceived failure. Who cares? If it truly is a waste of your time, then it likely is better that you aren't involved, because that's all it is. It's just a time waste for the future. So get something productive done and move on with your life. Again, guys, don't be so hard on yourself. As always, much love. Let me know what kind of videos you guys want to hear about in the comment section, or share what your experiences are with how you've overcome failure in your life. Let me know what kind of feedback you guys have. I do take the time to read your guys' comments and carefully consider everything that you guys say, so I would appreciate it if you show me some love. So like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one.